Hello, welcome into another episode of The Artist's Journey. My name is Third Eye Evo and I am your host. Today we are welcoming in a special guest, Mr. B Rockstar. Mr. B Rockstar is from Baltimore, Maryland. He is an entrepreneur, spoken word artist, educator, and all-around community leader. And we are so honored to have him on our show. He is a North Carolina A&T graduate with a dual major in creative writing and American literature. He has been featured on PBS, CBS, Atlanta Radio, Black Enterprise, and the such. And we are happy to have him on our show, and we know that you're going to find great inspiration from his story. So without further ado, we welcome in Mr. B Rockstar. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome into another episode of The Artist's Journey. We have right here in front of us Mr. B Rockstar. He is amazing poet, host, and phenomenal community leader. And I'm so honored to have you here with us today and to get to know you. So I'm going to jump right into it. How do you define spoken word? And how are you redefining it?
Whew, we just going straight for the throat right away. Okay, how do I define spoken word? Spoken word, well, there's a measurable way to define spoken word. But if you just ask me from a sentimental standpoint, spoken word is the original form of live entertainment. It is a way of expressing, creating, and manifesting and designing life the way we want it. A lot of times people think of spoken word or poetry as an observation. And that's what poetry is. When you're writing something down, reflecting, it's an observation. Spoken word is more in the moment. It's very much a freestyle of life. You know, you're really just kind of giving us what matters most right now. That's what spoken word is to me. There was a two-part to that. You said, how do I define it and how do...
Yeah, and how are you redefining it?
Ooh, I'm redefining it every day. Wow. I redefine it through my personal journey with it. You know, in my artistry, I'm always, if you listen to my spoken word, it's very, very different. It's very unique, and I'm always trying to push that envelope. You know, I like doing bad spoken word because that's how I find out what the good stuff is, you know. So I'm that guy. I'm going to keep pushing that envelope and trying to figure out different ways. I'm going to try to do a backflip while I'm performing or something, you know, to try to make it fresh and just redefining it, as you said. And there's a lot of other ways, but keeping it personal. I just try to do it through my artistry.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we also like to start off with each episode with opening our yogi teas. So if you don't mind, let's see what your yogi tea says.
It's like a lottery ticket. What you got in here? I won. No. It says, one who brings happiness to others will find it.
Wow. That's...
Wow.
This
is relevant.
Yes, that's what I be saying. Like, it's crazy.
Never came up before.
Never came up before. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so, going back to how do we redefine spoken word, I've charged myself with the responsibility because it was placed in my heart to make this pathway easier for others. You know, coming up as a spoken word artist, I got it out the mud, as my OGs would say. And it was a lot of figuring it out and things that have never been done before. It's not documented nowhere. Like, I don't really know how to do this, to now that I've kind of paved a way. I've kind of gone back and shown people roadmaps, on-ramps of how to monetize yourself, how to get better as a spoken word artist, how to find the places and to maximize those opportunities. So it's dope that it's said that, because one of the pillars of my journey was an educational component. And that was, like I said, teaching people. And through that, so the first year was about, teaching people what I know, and through that first year, I had so much information that I learned from people as I'm teaching them.
Right.
So my first book on performance was about what I knew. And then the second book I dropped, the advanced book, was basically a combination of what everybody had taught me. And through them finding like, oh man, like I started waking the spirit and now I'm doing the poem better. Or I started, promoting myself this way and it's working out. Thank you so much. Like I get a lot of happiness. I get a lot of joy from that, so.
Yeah, that's how you know you're living in your divine purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because what you do feeds others and is inspirational to others. You can see that, and you bring joy. It brings you joy, and you continue to do that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so this is dope. This is right on point.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So, wow. So you're a spoken word artist. You're a poet, but you also have dual degrees in creative writing and American literature. So. Were you introduced to poetry during your college years, or were you did you do it before that? Like how did you stumble upon this journey?
So yeah, this is always the funniest part of the journey, or my story, right? I hated poetry for a long time.
Really?
I did not like poetry.
Wow.
At all. All I knew about it was like old dead white guys, Shakespeare, Wordsworth, Tennyson.
What you learned in school.
Right. The way I learned it in school, that was all I knew. Was this academic lane of what it was. And the thing is, I was a poet who didn't know it type of thing. So when I was very young, I called them emotional notes. I was writing these emotional notes to my mom, and it would be like, why is this? Why is that? Why? It was always just kind of, venting, really. And I would leave them somewhere where she could find it. So I'm like 6, 7 years old.
Did you do this on your own, or did you?
On my own. Yeah. This is like 95.
That's
right?
emotionally intelligent. Emotionally intelligent child without even realizing it. That's
So that's how I kind of started, right? And then I remember in high school, my senior year, I had a senior project, and we had to write like 15 different types of poems.
Right.
And I had procrastinated. I waited till the day before to do the project. Wow. And I sat there, knocked them all out, turned it in, got an A. I'm not even thinking, bro, this is a gift. Like, I'm still like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's just poems. I'm just doing it real fast to get her out of my face, And then fast forward, so I took a year off between high school and college. But when I finally went to college, at the end of my freshman year, there were two things that happened that kind of brought me into the lane. So one, my stepfather had been murdered. Well, he hadn't died yet, but he had just, got into the situation and was in the hospital, and I had a speech class, and it was the end of the year, we're doing our final, and my mom tells me this like in the middle of the speech class right before I'm about to give my presentation. And instead of just kind of letting it get to me, I let it be fuel into my speech, and I got an A, and that was the only A I got that whole year.
Wow.
So, and again, I'm still not really making that connection yet.
Yeah.
At the very end of the year, my homegirl, she was a theater major. She was like, so I had, so let me go back one. I had written one poem.
Yeah.
And the one poem I wrote was that year between high school and college, and it was about my ex, and it was like 7 pages long. Wow. And I had infused other things, and I had read it so many times, I accidentally memorized it. So fast forward to my homegirl, and I'm in her dorm, she a theater major, and she's going over her monologues and stuff. And I was like, I got something kind of like that. And I just just casually saying it, letting her hear it. And she's like, wow, that was amazing. You got to come out to this open mic. I was like, open mic? Okay, what they doing at the open mic? She was like, they doing poetry. I was like, poetry? Ain't nobody coming to do no poetry. But she dragged me to the open mic, and I went, and I was like, okay, it's kind of cool. He's kind of cool. And they were promoting for the poetry slam the next weekend. Okay. And I came out for the slam the next weekend, and I was like, what is this? This ain't poetry that I've been, I'm saying, as I've known it. This is because they were incorporating music. It wasn't a traditional slam. It was very, very unconventional, and I didn't know that at the time. I thought that's what slam was. But slam is a lot more technical and clean, and no props, no this, that. But they had props, they had music, they had dancers. It was a straight on full spoken word production competition. Wow. And I was just like, yes to it all. Wow. And this is at the end of my freshman year. So that summer, I'm just writing poems, bro. I'm just like, I gotta say, right. And I go on YouTube. I find out about Deaf Poetry Jam. So now I'm getting put on to Georgia Me, Abyss, Red Storm, all that. I'm like, yo, this is not what I've been seeing. Like, where was this stuff? Yeah. You know, so yeah, I came my sophomore year and I tried out for this organization, you know what I'm saying, who was doing the open mic in those events that we was at. It was called Couture Word. Shout out to Couture. That was the beginning of my journey. They had an open audition. So it's like, and this is the biggest organization on campus. It's models, it's poets, it's singers, it's dancers. It's like all in one organization. And so the open audition is like 200 people in the room. So everybody's like nervous. They're like doing this. You know, I didn't care. I told her, I said, look, they either gonna like it or they not. You know, and little did I know.
That's a good mindset.
And little did I know that's the mindset you need if you want to wake the spirit of a poem. That's the most important element of the spoken word scene. So when we talk about defining the differences, so spoken word and poetry are vastly different. And the 4 key elements is waking the spirit, saying it with your chest, body language, and engaging the audience. Okay. So I didn't realize I was waking the spirit. I was aligning myself with the spirit of the piece to deliver it at the level that it was supposed to be delivered at. So when I go up there to do my 30-second audition, I ripped it. This is my first performance and the room erupted.
Wow.
And I was like, I think I figured out what I'm doing. So, and from there it was on, you know, my life is night and day. Like I say that day and the day I met my lady, the day before and the day after is night and day. Wow. My life was completely changed.
Wow.
Completely changed my major, you know what I'm saying? So I majored in what I majored in, and it was.
So what did you major before that?
I was an economics major.
Oh, okay.
I came in doing economics. I was like, and I would say like, I don't love it, but I'm good at it, so I'll just do that, you know. But when I spit that piece, I was like, woo.
Metamorphosis.
So, yeah. So
you bloomed into who you are, who you're meant to be, and. To go back, I didn't want to interrupt you because you were telling such amazing stories. So when you had that experience in high school when you tapped into your emotion with your the passing of your stepfather, that is powerful because like being able to transmute your emotion and then put it into an emotion that others can feel. That is a power that is rare, and it's something that is internal, and it's an internal like beam of light like that you're able to you work with, and you teach others to do that too. So that's phenomenal. So that's like, I'm honored that you're here with us today, and I like your shirt. Creative artist, 100% authentic.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
I have immense gratitude for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. So can you tell us about your company, B Rock & Co?
So B Rock & Company, it started as a hopeful wish in 2012. So for 2 years, it was nothing more than that. It was an EIN number that I registered and a hope. For 2 years, it just kind of sat dormant, really. And it wasn't until a couple years after that when I decided that I'm going to leave my full-time job and do spoken word full-time. That's when I really started needing it. You know, okay, we're doing our taxes. We're doing everything under this umbrella of this business. And it incorporated 3 aspects. It was entertainment, education, and events. So the entertainment is like the cool stuff, the podcast, the concerts, the tours, the albums, you know, the content, like all of that. Yeah. And then there was the education, which we've kind of gone into, you know, breaking down the spoken word, helping people get out of their own way, become more confident, teaching them how to monetize, how to find opportunities and stuff like that. And then the events. So I've done all kinds of events, open mics, festivals, indoor, outdoor, virtual, everything, you know, like small panel discussions with 10 people in a room to 2,000 people at a festival, you know. So we've done the whole gambit.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a journey now. It was definitely like this.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely. And you stuck with it too.
You
stuck with it because you see you're the visionary behind it.
For sure.
You know, and then you have willpower to bring it to light.
You
know, so that's the powerful part, you know. And that's why we interview people like you, because like you're special because No, listen.
I call my mama.
No, to be honest with you, I mean, because it's a scary thing to have a vision and to do the work and to be consistent.
Yeah.
Over
and over again.
Yeah. So like there's so many different aspects and layers to us as individuals. You know, it's not just, you know, because like I can't feel what you feel. I haven't walked in your shoes and nobody else has. So you know, and to continue on and to be positive in the world of hate is much needed, you know. So tell us about Stage Buddy and its uniqueness to the performance space. So
we just ripping lids off in this interview. I love it. We just Stage Buddy. I can't say a whole lot right now, but it's something I've been working on for a minute, you know. Okay. So as we were just talking about earlier, I got a full-time job, part-time job, old business and new business. The old business is what we kind of talked about, the original purpose of B Rock and Company with those three sides. And now my new 2.0 business, as I've been back at work, just kind of laying low and figuring things out, I've become hyper focused on one thing. You know, this is maybe the 57th product / service that I've created in this B Rock and Company journey, right? And this one is probably the most important. To kind of be brief, like I said, I can't get too deep into it right now because we're still in the pre-launch phase right now, and we're going to launch real soon. But think about it as like culture meets creativity meets technology. And right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, say less up.
You see what I'm saying? we've unlocked an aspect of AI that has not been brought into existence yet, and that is creative intelligence. So imagine you could put your poem into Stage Buddy and it mirrors it back to you, and it shows you where the holes are. It shows you what you need to do to get it to the level that you want it to be at.
Self-improve. So using AI to improve oneself.
Absolutely, but in a very, very unique and cultural way. Right. That's the key, because a lot of it is generic. A lot of this AI stuff is just generic and just kind of, you can apply that to anything really, but it's gonna specifically figure out, is it waking the spirit? Is it saying it with your chest? Is it body language? Is it engaging the audience? And it's gonna give you actionable steps to improve it. Yeah, I'm trying not to get emotional, but this is like the biggest thing I've ever worked on in my entire life, and I'm so grateful.
I feel you, and I'm excited for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're originally from Baltimore. When did you move to Atlanta?
So I got to Atlanta 8 years ago, 9. I got here in 2018. So I went to school in North Carolina. So I left Baltimore. That was like right at like a year after high school. So like 2008, I went to North Carolina, and I stayed there for about 10 years. Even though the last 2 years I was kind of nomadic. I was kind of just like traveling around the world and just kind of.
Where were you going?
Everywhere inside the United States. So when I say the world, I mean around the world of the United States.
Okay.
So I mean, as you said, like as we kind of said in my bio, I've performed in or featured in 22 states.
Yes.
You know, so a lot of that was in that 2-year period of just kind of traveling and just being everywhere all the time. Man, it was a great little journey. But 2018, I was like, all right, sit down. So I came to Atlanta. Yeah.
Oh wow, to grow, to spread your roots.
Yeah.
Deep in here. Yeah. You're wow.
And I always tell people, you know, I've only been here 8 years, but my soul has been in Atlanta for generations.
I believe that.
For real. Like this place is special to me. Yeah. Some of my ancestors had to have come through here specifically, you know, because I didn't even realize this until I moved here. I had spent 5 birthdays in Atlanta before I moved here. And I was like, and it didn't click then or at that moment when I moved here, but in retro, I'm like, bro, I spent 5 birthdays here. Like I was supposed to be here in Atlanta for the time that I'm supposed to be here, you know. So
A lot of I know my roots. A lot of my family moved from the south up north, and I know there's a lot of people did that. A lot of black people
Yeah,
did
yeah,
that,
yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm like a lot of my peers, we're from like our families are from Georgia, South Carolina. So I feel like, you're from Northeast, so but your roots, like you said, is here. Your spirit was incarnated here multiple times.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us about so you're a extremely successful poet, spoken word artist. And
I don't know why extremely successful.
Well, okay.
But I've done more than most.
Okay.
I've done more than most, for sure.
You have. And you've been able to be featured, have appearances on CBS, PBS, V103, ATL Radio, and, so many more places, so many more spaces. What was your journey leading up to that, to get to there? Well, you spoke on it a lot of just, in our interview, but specifically, how did you get into those spaces?
Yeah, a lot of it is about relationships, so one thing I really pride myself on, which is why I'm so proud of Stage Buddy and what it's about to do, is that I spent the entire duration of my career in spoken word not burning bridges and getting in bad with people. Like my whole journey is very respectable and it's very honorable. It's very and it's admirable. Like I get a lot of admiration for what I've done in these last 15 years, and so that type of lane has afforded me a lot of different opportunities. People calling like, hey, you need to call B Rock or did I introduce you to this, because I'm just showing up. It's not always about the money for me. I showed up in places, those things you just named, there wasn't money involved in those things.
Right.
And the opportunities that led me to that, there was no money involved. So if we just take CBS for example,
yes,
that was when I was featuring as the representative for the Poet Life Festival that came here to Atlanta. Shout out to Christoph Jenkins, that's my dog. In the what's his thing called? The Poet Life. He has a podcast, the Poet Life podcast. He has a lot of different things, but he did a festival, the Poet Fest here in Atlanta, and through our relationship prior, I was able to get the call from somebody else. I had did what was called the R&B Soul Picnic. Somebody from there called him. He already knew me, and he's like, yeah, he's perfect. We're gonna bring him on. He's gonna represent the festival this year. So that's how that happened. So
that is okay. Thank you for sharing that, because for those of you who want to be seen in certain spaces, it's about relationships. Relationship building relationships, not burning bridges.
Yeah. And not and staying. You can be confident and humble at the same time. You know. Well, who was it? I think it was Nikki Giovanni or somebody said it was like having humility without being humble. Or is it being humble without having humility? No, I like the other way around. Have humility, but don't be humble in a sense. So you don't have to brown nose and, try to mosey your way and manipulate your way into spaces. If you're confident in what you do, then, be confident in what you do, but you ain't got to throw it in people's faces neither. You don't have to act like, can we cuss?
Yeah.
Okay. You ain't got to act like you the shit if you just kind of a fart. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are just farts. You're not the shit yet. You know what I'm saying? So you're coming from the shit. You're close to the shit. Yeah. But you ain't shit yet. So it's super important to just be honest. I guess that's all I can really say. Be honest. Whoever you are, be who you are. Especially with artists, we get so caught up in the persona. I never got too caught up in B Rock. I was always Brock. I was always Brandon. Every step of the way, and B Rock was just the stage name that I wrote down that day when I did that poem for the first time. They said, "What's your stage name?" I was like, B Rock, and that was given to me in high school. My best friend named me B Rock, and so that kind of stuck with me to this day, right?
That's so sweet. But yeah. That's sweet, yeah. So what do you do to stay grounded and focused as an artist? Because
That's how I do it. Okay. So, you breathe, so As much as business mindset and community and all this other stuff, I am very much, if you do not fill your cup up, you cannot pour into anybody else's cup. And so many of us, we have this kind of toxic relationship with helping people, and that sounds weird, but like, well, how can it be toxic to help people? Some of us do it to our detriment. You know what I'm saying? We'll help people and help people and help people and then complain about nobody helping us. It's like, dude, like if you help yourself first and foremost and give yourself exactly what you need first and foremost, that wouldn't even be a thought. And
Right.
and I'm not, super Christian, nothing like that. Like I follow ancient Kemetic African religious traditions, but it's a saying that's like you have to be a cheerful giver. You know what I'm saying? They say that in the Bible, be a cheerful giver. So what does that mean? It's like a lot of people giving and they're not happy about it. If you can't be happy about it, you probably shouldn't do it. You should probably take a step back and give yourself something that you need. And a lot of us will give because we're trying to fill a void. But you want to kind of turn that inward, and do that inner work. And that's what I've done. 2018 was my deepest shadow work period of my life. It was a huge transition, So I unturned every rock. I'm like, what's triggering me? What triggers me? Where are my traumas coming from? From my childhood, from my not having my pops, being in all these different places. We moved 22 times in the first 18 years of my life. That was the first 18 years of my life is this kind of chaos. So that kind of does so unpacking those things, really, not just unpacking it for real and then performing alchemy. I like how you put the transmutation thing earlier. That's where that came from in 2018. I took all those things I went through and made it into a positive. Okay, well, going through all of that and moving all those different places, all those different times, that allowed me to be comfortable in chaos. I can have a clear mind and make things happen and get myself back to peace because I've already turning it into something like that. So that's what I do. I'm very serious about giving myself what I need so I can be everything I need to be for the world.
Wow. I'm processing.
Yeah. It's a lot, dude. Like for real, because it's something that a lot of us aren't privy to. Number one, but number two, it makes. So I always say this, right, to my lady and whoever, right. I always say, just because I would say it's simple. It's just not easy. What I said is super. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
But it's not easy to do.
It's not easy.
But the second part of that is, but just because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible.
See, what you're explaining that you can do is you can feel an emotion and then like make it malleable, like inside, and transform and transmute it and beam it out. That just for the average person, just going to that emotion and feeling it is the first part. Allowing themselves to do that. So like that's why it's important. Poets are important. Poets are prophets. Poets are writers, and a lot of the work that we do comes from source.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, so doing that, that's amazing. What advice would you give yourself 5 years ago?
Whew. What advice would I give myself 5 years ago? Buckle up. Buckle up. 'Cause I'm about to take you up and through there. 5 years ago, dude, that was 2020. So it's COVID.
Yeah, it's COVID time.
Right. And unlike a lot of people, my COVID was amazing. Not from what was happening. Like I don't want to.
No, I agree.
But I had a lot of success. I know why a lot of people were like sitting still and being quiet and not really having motion or losing their businesses. Like so many businesses failed during COVID. But I had a time. I had a time for sure. And this was the beginning of me kind of crystallizing the educational component of my business too. So me, teaching people how to perform. Like my goal was to do a workshop with 100 poets in a year, and we hit that like 2 months before the year, right? And so like that's during that time. I didn't know that it was going to transform into Stage Buddy, but it was the beginning. It was the beginnings of a lot of things. So my mindset 5 years ago was like, oh, I hope this works, or man, we're gonna see, or this is what I'm working on, or like I'm just so much in the trenches of it, And what I
Yeah.
would tell myself 5 years ago, bro, buckle up, because no matter what you doing, or no matter what you do, it's coming. It's coming to you. You don't
Ooh.
have to run and chase
Ooh.
and try to grab it so hard. It's coming to you.
Wow.
Just buckle up. Cause you ain't driving, Cause I tell people, like, so, they said have this saying, tell God your plans, and if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, And what that really means is that you have to meet when you make a plan. That is you just meeting the universe halfway. But we'll stress ourselves out trying to do all the work.
Right.
You're not supposed to do all the work. You're
Right.
supposed to just whatever you have planned, and then have faith that it's going to work out. And then the other 50% is the stuff you had no idea that you couldn't plan for,
You said an important word though. You said faith. Have faith. That's the hard part, because control. I know, like, control, having, wanting to, like, oh, I don't know, and, like, looking at what's in front, getting caught up a lot of times with the problems, can be a obstacle for many. So but having the faith, and then walking with the faith, and then keep holding that vision, because you are the only person that can see it, as the creator. You're the only person that can see the full vision. No one else can, and then you have to walk with that faith that, this is something important. This is something that's going somewhere.
Sure.
So, yes, powerful things you're saying. Very wise. You're very wise.
Wise, I am. No.
Yeah. So do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on?
Stage buddy. That's
Okay.
it. So I am, obviously there's other little things.
Yes.
There's a million things
Yeah,
going
you're a
on.
host as well. You host.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like full-time job, part-time job, old business, new business. So the old business is still a thing. I haven't. I'm not as actively pushing it and expanding it the way it could be, but I'm just kind of. I want to say just keeping it around. I'm not just like keeping it around. I love absolutely everything I do. I love interviewing. I love featuring. I love performing. I love hosting. I love curating. I love DJing. I got a DJ gig tonight. You know what I'm saying? That's another new tool that I add to the toolbox. So I got that tonight. So yeah, the main thing is just crown me. It's an open mic every second Thursday at Urban Grind. It's the longest. Urban Grind has the longest running open mic in Atlanta's history. It's almost 2 decades in right now.
Wow.
Nonstop. And I do second Thursdays as a host. It's every Thursday though. Make sure you go every Thursday. It's a different host. You get different experiences. It's really awesome. But I'm second Thursdays. Couple of features, here and there. I'm not super active. I kind of like pick now, but yeah, it's all about Stage Buddy right now. Stage Buddy, Buddy Stage.
That's great. So, do you have any words of advice to other indie artists and like that have the aspirations and the inspiration to create, but haven't made themselves seen as as much as you have, but they are driven and excited about their work?
I would say I guess I would say don't forget to have fun. We, especially as artists, man, like we talk about some deep shit, like things we've been through, things we've observed, like, especially if you live in this country and you sipping the Kool-Aid, you think it's just turmoil everywhere all the time, it's so easy to lose the essence, the enjoyment, the fulfillment of what the art is supposed to do. So as I mentioned, spoken word is the oldest form of live entertainment. So in the beginning, when they were doing this, it was all about that. It was all about the poet, the griot, or whatever you want to call it. Or the historian, they were responsible for telling the history. And they would do it in this creative way. They did it with figurative language. They might have some a little beat, a little drum in the back. This is the beginnings of rap. You know what I'm saying? This is, they might have somebody kind of doing an interpretive dance that is super intentional with the words that are being said. This is the beginning of, that. So, and it was done that way because the poet, the griot, whatever you want to call them, they knew if I just say these things, they're going to fall asleep. If I'm just talking, it's not gonna be received. But if I put it in this rhythmic way, if I say it in this creative way, they're gonna enjoy it. They're gonna sing along. They're gonna remember some of these like choruses, and they're gonna be reciting them and passing them on. That's where we get the oral tradition and the word of mouth. The concept of word of mouth comes from the original spoken word artists. So when you say word of mouth and you passing that same message on over and over and over again, that came from an enjoyable moment. It came from a place of love, a place of committing yourself to growing humanity. So that's what I want to say is like, don't forget that. Don't get so caught up in the numbers. Don't get so caught up in the attention. Don't get so caught up in what this artist is doing and what that artist is doing and what I'm not doing, how they get this out. Like, that's taking the joy out of it, and that's what we have to remember. Like, you want to come from a place that's genuine because you're taking on a responsibility now. If you're deciding you want to stand in front of people on a stage and download emotions onto them, you're accepting a responsibility, whether you wouldn't realize it or not, And so if we just keep it I know you said artists, but if we keep it in the lane of spoken word artists and poets, as a poet, you write poems down on the page, you can write whatever you want on that page. It's between you and the page. But as soon as you bring it to us, now you're intentionally downloading it onto us. There's a threshold there. Is what I'm about to say going to uplift humanity? Or is it going to derail us? So derailing might be fun for some people, but it's not fun for the collective. We learn lessons, we grow, we get stronger from it. It's necessary. But I want more artists who are dedicated to the other side, who are dedicated to accepting it as a responsibility and not as an opportunity to hit some lick or to sell some product. So.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes. So don't forget to have fun, and be true to your messaging. Be true to, know why you're doing it. Don't just do it because you think you're going to get fame or, or wealth, because you may not. But what do you need to say? Why are you creating? That's the whole purpose of it. And are you having fun? Is it coming from source? Is it coming from your internal being? Does it make you smile? Does it make you happy? So these are all. Yes. Ashe, 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 ashe.
Am I doing this too soon?
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
No. See, usually we do that in the beginning, but yeah, yep. No, that's me. That was me. I didn't do it. Yeah. So this video is going to be a little bit different. But if you're tuning in, I hope you guys are all having a great evening, a great morning. So Mr. B Rockstar here. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for being our guest and sharing your words of wisdom. And yeah, until next time.
Until next time.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Can I give some shout outs?
Yes, of course.
Okay, boy, I want to shout out my mama. Shout out to my mama. No, shout out to my family. I'm from Baltimore, represent. You already know 410-443 Westside Dummy, Sinai Hospital. You already know what's going on. I want to give a shout out to my queen. Shout out to my queen who's been holding me down this entire time. I want to give a shout out to my mentors. You threw the wise word out there a few times, and I'm like, I'm eating it up. I'm gonna take it. But I can't take full credit because there are so many wise men above me. And I would encourage that to artists too. Like, make sure you have somebody that you're learning from. We all just trying to do our own thing and do it. Okay, you can do your own thing and do it how you want to do it, but there are people who have already made the mistakes. and you can literally avoid so many pitfalls if
Yeah.
you just accept mentorship, So shout out to my mentors. Shout out to Clement Mallory, Josephus. Shout out to Sana Hanu. Shout out to Ed Mabry. Shout out to Milk. Milk is my cousin. He's like the creative director behind a lot of the things that I got going on. Did I shout out my queen already?
Yes, you did.
Okay, well,
yes,
I'm gonna do that again. And yeah, that's where we at. And shout out to me. Shit.
Yes, shout out to you.
And shout out to you. Shout out to you.
Yes,
appreciate y'all.
Yes, and I appreciate you. We appreciate you for coming on and and talking with us and sharing. Like I said, sharing your wisdom, because this is a journey, and it's not an easy journey. But to stay focused on your light is and your purpose is a powerful thing. So yes. Okay. Until next time, you guys, I'll see you again. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. Peace out.